Well, the temperatures might be coming down here in Barcelona, but the excitement down in pit lane, it continues to increase as all the fans cheer on Lewis Hamilton winning his 106th Formula One Grand Prix. Not since Belgium 2024 has he won a race. Not since Silverstone that same year was he able to celebrate on the podium with his peers and his team. An incredible accomplishment. His first win for Ferrari, his third podium on the bounce, and closes the gap to Kimi Antonelli in the championship. The celebrations are ongoing, and I feel like it's going to be that way for quite a while as we watched a historic drive today from Lewis Hamilton in that Ferrari. And guys, let's just start right off the bat. Juan, you know this guy well. You've raced against him. What can you say about a driver that's been able to win this far into his career?
It's unbelievable. As we said it before the race, if he can smell that win, we get a different Lewis. We get this Lewis. And watch out for the championship, because we're going to Austria in 2 weeks. They have a new engine. They have an upgrade coming. So things are coming their way. Mercedes is still really, really strong. It would have been really interesting because I think Lewis would have won either way without the safety car, but he would have had to pass people, and it would have been a really, really cool race.
It would have been exciting either way, but I'm with you. I think Ferrari called the right strategy with the 3-stop. I think Lewis had the pace either way. And Callum, you've been involved in some on-track battles with Lewis Hamilton over the years. Of course, when you were on the Red Bull team with Max Verstappen, we saw him at his absolute best, I think, in 2021. The 2022 era cars, maybe not his best. Are we seeing Lewis Hamilton return to that 2021 form?
Like, absolutely. This is Lewis Hamilton at his best. And I wanted to say it's not just the fan atmosphere here. Walking up and down the pit lane after the race, there was applause from almost every garage in this pit lane. Everyone is so happy to see him get this victory today. He was absolutely amazing. And I kind of think that he could have won without that VSC as well. Very
popular victory, you're right, up and down the field. And won 40 races since that last win. He's had a dry spell before, after 21, until he got those wins in 2024. But as a driver, is it tough to stay motivated? Do you start doubting yourself, questioning what you're doing when it's been that long without a win?
Well, he has said that. I need to look at everything, look at myself, and you got to be open about it. You got to look at yourself and see what you need to do better, and you can always find ways to improve. And I think he's proven and shown to everybody that you can do it. I think it's the same mentality that Fernando has, and the trust that anybody in Aston has on Fernando. They know if they can deliver a car, he's gonna be the guy that can deliver. And what he did today was amazing. I think Ferrari was solid. I was surprised none more people went for the 3 stops, especially people mid-pack going for points. They could have split the cars, and I think it would have made for an incredibly race, everywhere. And it was. I think everybody did a really good job. It was all over the place, the race. And Kimi didn't hold back. That we thought he might, and he didn't. Even, with all the all the warnings from the track limits, he still went for it. And that's, we said it. He just can't control himself.
It was a Hamilton win, but it was anything but straightforward. You're right, Kimi put on a show, as did George Russell. But let's take a look back at the Grand Prix won by Lewis Hamilton 30 years after Michael Schumacher took his first win for Ferrari at this very venue.
It is time to go racing in Spain. And the Grand Prix is underway. Good reaction time for Kimi Antonelli. He's close. It's not the launch that Lewis Hamilton wanted on the soft tyres, but Hamilton crucially gets ahead of Antonelli. Norris is in the mix as well. George Russell holds the lead. Is there a chance for one of those moves around the outside of turn 3? It is so possible. The Ferrari faster, faster, faster still, edging ahead.
And so that's nice that he got out of position at the start, because he's giving us a display of overtaking. Not there.
No one overtakes at turn 13, but we're seeing some moves around the outside like he wasn't even there. Old tyres versus new. The Italian teenager all over the back of his teammate. A defensive shape thrown, but the position held at the moment. The virtual safety car, which is deployed. An extraordinary moment.
Fernando getting out.
Here they come. That will gain him enormously. We are now racing to the control line at reduced speed. Lewis Hamilton's looking for the white line that defines him as the race leader.
Great job, guys.
Antonelli's got an unbelievable chance here to improve. Russell chops across. The Mercedes separated by nothing. Antonelli gets ahead and he moves up to second place in the Grand Prix. He's breaking down. He's breaking down. Kimi Antonelli will not finish. Lewis Hamilton wins a Grand Prix for Ferrari.
Grazie a tutti. I'm Maranello. Thank you so much. You've helped me achieve this dream, and I can't thank you enough.
You see it right there, guys. The fan reaction here, absolutely electric. They have absolutely stacked the front straight from pit wall to the grandstands there. So much support for Lewis Hamilton. Juan, as a driver, how much energy and excitement can you pull from a fan base like that?
But this is amazing. This is, what Ferrari dreams of, and this is what Ferrari is all about. People that, that cult that Ferrari is incredible. And what Lewis did that with Ferrari today, it is just skyrocket what Ferrari means.
And what's so cool about winning with Ferrari for Lewis Hamilton is this is the third different Formula One team that he's won races with. That's not easy to do. That's not a common thing. He's only the 16th driver in history to accomplish the feat. Of course, Fernando Alonso, one of the others who's in this grid. But I mean, Cal, from a team's perspective, how cool is it to have a driver that's been able to bring that much experience from other teams and still deliver at this new team?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's about longevity, isn't it? And you say when you're an athlete and you're in your prime, you're just trying to stay in that window where you can keep competing at the top of the sport. Now, Ferrari and Lewis, they've had ups and downs since he joined. This is so important for them as a team, and it was great for Lewis to hear him talk about his fan base, how they helped him through those hard times and get to this point. What an amazing thing to experience here in Barcelona.
And Juan, oldest driver to win a Grand Prix since 1970. Are you surprised at his ability to maintain this level of performance this far? I mean, you and I have both driven, you and I both stopped. At some point, you have to do it. He doesn't
50.
but he didn't seem to get to that point. He doesn't seem even close to that point.
No, I think he's in a really good window. He's really happy. And remember, when you've been doing this for so long, it comes so natural. He's been, he's been driving the same thing, the same cars and everything. Yes, the rules change and everything, but he was never happy with the old rules. So I think this rules was a big thing for him. He got a lot of the feeling back that he liked about driving fast cars, and it's shown. And I think this is a really important time, for example, for Charles to look at how Lewis brought the team forward and learn. It is, of course, he wants to beat Lewis, and he will beat Lewis in a lot of races as well. But this is an amazing opportunity that Charles has to understand what makes Lewis Hamilton that 7-time world champion.
Yeah, and I think so. He talked about before qualifying going back to his motorhome and having a bit of a reset, and it seemed like it's worked because, lightning fast in qualifying. And then today, the thing that I like most about this victory is, regardless of the VSC, I think he would have won anyway. He was just so fast. We were watching the timing screens and he was just pulling away from George Russell, and George had no response for that.
Yeah, we saw in FP2 that the long-run pace from the Ferraris could be quite stout. Turned out to be the case in the Grand Prix today. And you mentioned Charles Leclerc. Lots that he can learn from a driver as experienced as Lewis Hamilton. And even though he did not have the race that he wanted today, he had some lovely words to say about his teammate at Ferrari.
Victory for Ferrari today. You did play your part in the middle of the race as well. But, I mean, what do you take from the overall showing this weekend, the updates on the car and getting back to winning ways as a team?
I don't want to take any credit for today. I don't think I've done much for the team. I think Lewis and the team eventually won it on their own, and I wish I had been a bit more in front to maybe be a bit more in the mix of the things, but I wasn't for my fault. So yeah, a huge congratulations to Lewis, who has been on it now since quite a bit and has been incredible. And a huge congrats to the team as well that is pushing massively on upgrades, and we are showing it now, so it's good to see this, and yeah, I'm just very disappointed on my side, obviously.
Thanks, Charles.
Yeah, a troubled weekend all around for Charles Leclerc. Crash in qualifying, and then this one of many issues that ended up transpiring in the race. And Callum, we were standing outside the Ferrari garage when the number 16 was wheeled back, and you noticed something under the car, didn't you?
Yeah, Juan and I, we also noticed there's a little pink puddle of what looks very much like hydraulic fluid, which would, of course, explain why Charles says he lost more than just power steering. That hydraulic system, obviously, is used for the power steering, but also the brake-by-wire. We have like what we call a powered master cylinder that controls the rear brake. So at this point, you lose hydraulic pressure, it is game over.
You lose too many critical systems on the car to continue. And I guess that's part of the point, because we were still under safety car until that last lap. Maybe the thought was he could just sort of poodle around and maybe still collect some points. No one could pass, but it's not really a realistic thing, is it, Juan?
It is a really tough decision, because if he goes and he went green at the end, it would have been really difficult. To a point, I thought, maybe ask him to stop on the track and extend it, you know what I mean, just to make sure nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, they mentioned you know, him playing his part, maybe holding up George Russell a little bit right before he came into the pits, but ultimately we don't think that made a big difference.
It didn't make a difference. I think what's interesting is what we saw today on the tires. It's exciting, and I think Formula One and Pirelli needs to learn from this and do this more often, because the racing and the different strategies, it was unbelievable to see.
Yeah, I mean, credit where credit's due, right? Formula One and Pirelli making that decision to bring one step softer tires all the way through the range, and it definitely treated us to a more exciting Grand Prix. Now, Leclerc on a bit of a bad streak at the same time that his teammate seems to be excelling. Is it starting to get worrisome for Leclerc, or is this just sort of a short run of bad luck?
Look, I think Leclerc needs to not associate his downturn with Lewis's rise, okay? Like, I think he needs to see them as two completely separate things and just get back to doing what he knows he can do. He's had some amazing drives with Ferrari since he joined, and obviously he's got this new contract. That's going to go on for a long time. So I think he needs to just have his own little reset and not think about Lewis and what he's doing, and just focus on getting back to what he can do great.
We've seen a few drivers excel by maybe going back to basics a little bit, taking it a little bit easier. Again, incredible drive from Lewis Hamilton to secure that amazing victory here in Spain.
Let's look at the standings then after round 7 of the World Championship in 2026. Kimi Antonelli still the leader despite his first retirement of the season. He's on 156 points. Lewis Hamilton closing in though. A sentence that not many expected a couple of races ago. He is in second place, 115 points. Then it's George Russell in third. He took 18 points out of Antonelli's total. Charles Leclerc didn't score today. Lando Norris did. He got 15 points. Then it's Piastri, Verstappen, Gasly, Hadjar, and Liam Lawson completes the top 10. We move to the second page, which begins with Franco Colapinto. He was in the top 10 today, again, along with teammate Gasly. Then it was Behrman, Lindblad, Sainz, and Albon. Ocon is 16th ahead of Bortoletto, and then Fernando Alonso. His retirement key for today's race result, but he didn't add to his 1 point scored this year in Monaco. Hulkenberg and Bottas at 19th and 20th. Sergio Perez is in 21st, and Lance Stroll is the last driver in the World Championship. To the constructors' standings, where Mercedes continue to lead the way. It is 262 points. Ferrari on 190 after their first Grand Prix win of the season. Mercedes stranglehold broken with that result today. And then it is McLaren ahead of Red Bull. Double score for Alpine today. Racing Bulls with a good result as well. Then it is Haas, Williams and Audi. The final two, Aston Martin and Cadillac, yet to trouble the top 8 in a sprint or the top 10 in a Grand Prix.
Here in the paddock in Barcelona. And while early into the Grand Prix, the win seemed pretty secure for Lewis Hamilton, the battle for second ebbed back and forth between the Mercedes pair of George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. It was Russell holding the place early before an incredible move from Kimi Antonelli late in the race before a mechanical failure took him out of contention and ended this incredible streak of wins that the young man had had. Now, Juan, it's a little bit of what goes around, comes around, similar situation to what we saw with George Russell in Montreal. But just talk to me about Kimi's race, because he was absolutely sensational today.
Oh, he was really good. He was very patient. He made a lot of track limits, so that was on the limit. And the question...
He made them early, but then he didn't do that last one.
The McLarens were complaining that he was still doing them and that they thought he had enough for a penalty. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. But what's interesting is he still managed to beat George, and on paper he DNF, but He got to George, he waited. What really surprised me out of all the Mercedes is they reacted to Lewis' strategy, but they stayed on their own. So I think they put themselves in a really difficult situation because at the end of the race, they had to do over 30 laps on the last set of tires. So it's like, if you go into a two-stop, you don't stop on lap 15. You should have gone to lap 21 or 22. Then it becomes a much easier race. And then if they would have done that, it would have been much harder for Lewis to work. Because when everybody stopped early and extended those runs, that's where they opened the strategy for Lewis.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a missed call there for Mercedes on strategy a few times, right from the start and then mid-race as well. But let's hear from both of the drivers from Mercedes Grand Prix.
Kimmy, that must be a tough one to take. Just tell me how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, I feel a bit empty, to be fair, right now. But it's what it is. Races are like this, and it comes and goes. And yeah, I mean, for sure the pace was good today. I struggled a little bit in stint 1, but stint 2 and stint 3, I felt I had quite a lot of pace. And yeah, of course it's a shame because also it was with, 3 laps to the end, so we were almost there. But as I said, races are like this, it's no one's fault, and now we look forward to the next one.
What about the rest of that race up to that point? The battle with George looked very close out there again, and Lewis and Ferrari winning. How do you view their challenge moving on from here?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm very happy for Lewis, and because he's been chasing that first win with Ferrari for so long, and I'm really happy for him to see him succeed in that. However, yeah, I mean, today I feel like I was a bit. I think like if I could have made the move in stint 2 already on George, would have been a bit of a different race because, as I said, the pace was very good, especially end of stint, and yeah, I feel like maybe would have been very close with Lewis with the VSC, so maybe we could have fought, but as I said, is what it is, and I think also on my side, yesterday I didn't do a good job, so definitely now a week of rest and then ready for Austria to come back stronger and be back at the best form.
Thanks, Kimi. Hard luck. So, George, quite a few things going on out there this afternoon. P2 at the end of it. Just tell us how you're feeling after that one.
Yeah, I mean, first, a huge congrats to Lewis. He had an amazing race, obviously, on an offset strategy to us, but deserving winner. Today, our side, the pace looked strong at the beginning. I felt under control, comfortable in the first 10, 15 laps, and then just struggled on the hard tyre, but at the end of the day, I'm glad to be back on the podium.
Talk to us a bit more about that battle with Kimi, another close one out there, and obviously he retired later on. You make some gains in the Drivers' Championship. After all your misfortune, it must feel good to be moving in the right direction again.
Yeah, it's good to get some points on the board. It's not the race I would have wanted. And at the moment, Lewis is also ahead of me in the championship, and their upgrade seems to be really strong. So kudos to them.
Thanks, George.
Thank you.
Dejected Kimi Antonelli, bit muted George Russell, but one thing I did like is Lewis Hamilton was so happy for Kimi when he got his first win with Mercedes. It's nice to see Kimi, even in this moment of a little bit of disappointment, congratulating Lewis on his first win with Ferrari. The points total now, 41 points from Kimi to Lewis, 50 points to his teammate George Russell. And, we were just speaking about George, got the points back a little bit, but maybe still mentally not the win he would have hoped for this weekend.
No, I mean, he did a qualifying and everything. He executed. And I think Mercedes put him in a tough spot by stopping him so early. He was the first guy. When you have such a high degradation, if you think about it, if you have 2/10 a lap degradation and he was higher, and your teammate stops 4 laps later, that's 8/10 a lap. Yes, you open a bit of a gap initially, but then the teammate here, it comes, and it just makes it hard.
And here he came. I mean, let's take a look back at the pass that Kimi Antonelli worked on. He closed the gap, set it up for several laps, and ultimately pulled off a really, really aggressive but well-executed move on into turn 1.
Yeah, George was way too nice.
He's a bit lazy on the defense, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he tried to block, and I don't think he thought he was going to get all the way there. And when he saw it, it's like, oh my God, it's too late. And he tried to react to turn 2 and 3, and then when he got to 4, I think when he got to 4, he's like, okay, I'm going to give a gas here and dive bomb him into 5. And he got a huge snap. I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't have tires.
How'd you see that defense attempt?
Well, I want to be fair to George here because he did put up a defence attempt. And you got to remember that if you go over that line with your teammate, you're then in hot water with Toto. And he's quite a big guy. I wouldn't want to be in hot water with him. So, you know, you have to be fair to George. I think he put up enough of a defence of his teammate. If he'd gone much further, you might have said it was over the line.
Okay, and if it was the other way around, you thought Kimi would have left the same space?
Do you know what? I genuinely believe that regardless of Toto saying that, you know, we'll let them race and do this, that, and the other, they will both have that in the back of their mind that I do not want to upset this man.
They've had the talking to. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Callum, is again, another retirement, another mechanical DNF for Mercedes. We've seen it not just on the factory team, we've seen it across several Mercedes-powered cars. What do we think the issue is? Why are they struggling so much to see the end of these Grand Prix?
Well, initially, I kind of took the view that you can't read too much into what happens into the customer teams because the installation of an engine can be part of the problems you have. But now, you know, these are two high-profile failures. The first one in Canada that obviously helped Kimi Antonelli, and then this one today that sort of has balanced the books. But, you know, it's got to be a bit of a concern for them now, especially as, you know, Lewis has had this turn of form. Ferrari look really, really reliable. By the end of this season, this could be a problem for them.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because also at the end of the season, you're going to have to put extra parts, and you start going to get grid penalties. And when you start getting grid penalties, the points are going to flip. You know what I mean? If they have a competitive, if you're going for a championship and you got to take 5, 6, 10 place penalties, it's going to make your day a lot harder. So I guarantee you we're going to see when we get to a Spa and races like that, we're going to see Mercedes taking a penalty for extra equipment just to make sure they're in a better place for the end of the year.
So the reliability is a bit of a question mark. Ferrari's reliability been quite good. Their form is improving. 41 points. I mean, is this no longer just a straight-up fight between George Russell and Kimi Antonelli?
I think Ferrari will feel like they can be in this fight at some point in the season, and the form kind of says they will. Like, I think the reliability is going to be absolutely key. As you said, teams are going to take engine penalties this year. If they can avoid that, then yeah, I think they're in the fight.
Yeah, we have to wait and see when they bring the upgrades here, if anything new comes, any problems come. But more pace is coming. So I guarantee you Mercedes at this point are looking, do we need to start bringing an upgrade earlier than we need to? Are we just not as comfortable? Because, again, McLaren was there. I said it. They were all there. This is the hard thing. Apart from Lewis that did the different strategy and it paid off, all the other teams were within reach. So this changes how you score points every week, and you can make big hits on people. It's not like you're not going against your teammate and making, 4, 5, 6, 7 points of difference. You can make 15, 20 points, and then it becomes very difficult for a championship.
Yeah, it certainly does. A lot of good races still coming. A lot of good analysis still coming up. We've only covered the top few cars. Plenty more to come back here from the paddock in Barcelona. Guys, here on F1 TV, we have lots of fun stuff to watch, including a great series called Off the Grid with Lawrence Barretto. Here's a sneak peek at what you can catch on it.
This is an extraordinary location. Espen!
Hello!
Thanks for having me around.
I only recently moved to this place.
Such a lovely place that you've got. You can be my tour guide today, mate.
Yep.
What a part of the world to live in.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, here we are. Oh my God.
It's like a proper moto track.
I was slightly quicker than you.
No. It was my last chance.
You don't make friends on track. I knew that it was going to be a pretty big story.
You can't make enemies this early in your career.
Such a great experience getting thrown in at the deep end.
So that was quite a lot for you to deal with.
I think we just asked too much of him too soon.
People wrote me off too quickly. I will always remember that one. It's quite crazy, no? Now this is what everyone really wants to see. How well can Oscar Piastri park?
little bit of a deep dive there into the lives of your favorite drivers. And guys, there's so much more to see on F1 TV. Scan the QR code on the bottom and check out all the content they've got there. Cool Down Room, one of my personal favorites, Jolyon Palmer's analysis, nails the breakdown of these Grand Prix every single weekend. Chasing the Dream, Tech Talk, all sorts of fun stuff. Definitely worth checking it out. Make sure you scan the QR code, sign up, and follow along. Continuing the analysis of the race here in Barcelona, and we have a very special guest who I imagine is pretty happy today. Fred Vasseur, first of all, congratulations on an incredible result for your team and for your driver, Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, it's a good feeling that we had 1 year and a half with up and down, with sometimes headwind, and to win today and on the top of it to have the race in control, because I think he was able to fight yesterday for the pole. And today he was managing the situation very well. As soon as we were adjusting the strategy, he was pushing more or less, and he was very outstanding today.
Fred, you had the car, you had the strategy, you had the driver, but Lewis has had a little bit of a different approach. He's talked about almost stepping back a little bit, getting back to basics. Have you kind of seen the difference in him since he's done that?
Honestly not. I think that the approach of Lewis was consistent from the beginning. He's fully committed, fully convinced, and he's pushing everybody. And we need to have this kind of energy, and it's paying off today. But we have also to stay calm. It's not that last week we were nowhere, and today we are world champion. It would be a huge mistake. It means that we need to keep Austria exactly with the same approach as Barcelona, and it's what we will do.
I think you have to be so proud not only of everybody, but strategy. Like, everybody always complained about strategy, and you guys today nailed it. And you have to be so proud of all the team, and it's a step in, for sure, in the right direction.
The most important is to have the pace. That the strategy went very well today, but it went also very well the last couple of events when the pace was a bit less impressive, and it's more difficult. But the confidence that we have between us on the pit wall and with the drivers is key. That we can make mistake, because strategy, you can make a mistake next week. It's never given, but we saw with Charles that we pitted the lap after there was the VSC, and this is a pain. But the fact that we have this kind of level of confidence between us is key for the future.
Well, Fred, congratulations on
you.
an amazing result. Go celebrate with your team. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
When you have a fast car, it does make strategy a little bit easier to call, so I kind of see where he's coming from with that. Another guy that just played a nice, clean race, executed his second podium of the season, is McLaren's Lando Norris.
So Lando, on the podium, I know there was the late moment for Kimi, but what do you take from that result?
Yeah, of course, unfortunate for Kimi. That's life in 2026, I'm afraid. I'm just happy, you know, I have to be there. I have to be there when it counts. I gave myself opportunities to just, if they ever fought and had anything, I was there. I didn't have the pace. Like, we don't have the car or the pace at the minute to challenge them, but I was there if anything happened, and there to make the most of any opportunity if it arose. But just very happy to be back on the podium. The pace was obviously good enough for P4. So a good day for us, good points, and I'm happy with that.
You touched on it there. Oscar was also saying a few lessons to take from this weekend for the team. Where does it leave you heading to Austria?
With a lot to improve. You know, we're happy to be back on the podium. We're happy to score points. We're happy to finish the race. But it shows the car is just not close to where we want it to be. We're improving it, but Ferrari also brought a lot of upgrades here and improved even more. And Lewis was dominant out there today. I think he would have won the race no matter what, honestly. So very happy for him. Nice to see him on the podium. Happy that was the first Brit podium since 1968. So I was told. So just, yeah, a cool podium to be up there with both George and Lewis, and of course mainly Lewis, because he's just a good guy to be up there with, and a cool experience, you know. So yeah, we want to improve. We're not at the level of Mercedes or Ferrari yet, and we have to keep our heads down and keep pushing.
Thanks, Lando.
Back down here in the paddock in between the team motorhomes. Good words from Lando Norris. Again, stayed out of trouble, stayed consistent, got that podium position. Let's take a look at some of the other drivers that maybe had quiet races and ended up with okay results. Let's talk about Red Bull, 4th and 6th. We saw Hadjar have that brutal start, but then, I mean, I thought he was pretty electric trying to come back up through the field in that first stint.
Yeah, I mean, that bad start kind of did us a bit of a favor, right? We got to see some great overtaking maneuvers in like untraditional places, which was nice for Isaac. He'll be happy with the race. Like, as I said at the beginning of this week, if you told him on Friday that this was going to be the result, they would have taken it. I'm pretty sure that they can't wait to just get these trucks packed and get onto Austria, where I think hopefully they'll be a little bit better anyway. But yeah, and it's the same for Max, you know, finished just off the podium, but it was a fairly boring race for him, uneventful, let's say. But yeah, just got through it.
Yeah, got to be happy with 4th after all that. I mean, some of those Hadjar passes, they were Montoya-esque, weren't they? Going around the outside places you wouldn't expect them.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think Hadjar has been doing a really good job. And as we said, Max had a really good, quiet race, scored the points. And Hadjar did a really good job coming back because he was 13 or 14 by lap 1. And this is the reality in a straight line like this and a long start, you know, a long start. If you get a bad start, in Monaco or Canada, you lose a little bit. You lose a couple of places. Here, you lose 10.
Yeah, such a long run down there. So double points for Alpine, really impressive. I mean, not just based on where they started, based on how they've been talking all weekend, didn't really seem like that was going to be something on the cards for them. But you have to give him credit. Pierre Gasly has scored points on every weekend, you know, except Miami, every Grand Prix, except Miami where he ended up on his lid. But pretty solid comeback for that group.
And really important for Alpine. I think, you know, as this season goes on and teams around them do start to bring upgrade packages and things like that, I think it's good that early on they're sort of making a good ground for the rest of their championship fight.
Yeah, Racing Bulls as well, double points, maybe a little bit more expected with the pace we saw out of that team. But it really was a race of attrition. We had quite a few DNFs. Obviously, one of them was Fernando Alonso. Not the ending that he would have wanted. Did create a little bit of the drama for us with that VSC, but another mechanical issue here on the Aston Martin just kind of goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, I mean, they had an issue as well with, you know, Stroll. They retired the car really early and same problem. Both cars stopped. As you said, this created the most amazing race we could ask for, but it stopped. And I think they know it. I think they're just being patient and they're just going race by race, knowing, you know, we're waiting for Spa. And I think we're all waiting for Spa to see how much of a step it is and where we're really going to see the Aston Martin next.
Well, it was an up and down day for a lot of drivers in the field, but one driver looked absolutely determined to win this race right from lights out. And that, of course, is your winner, Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis, Grand Prix winner with Ferrari. Tell us how good that feels.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to try to be like really present at the moment and really live in the moment. It's hard to believe that we just did that whole long race and we came out on top. It's just wow. I've been hoping and praying for this moment and working towards it really hard with the team, and just such great dedication from everybody. I can't believe can't believe getting my first Grand Prix win here in Barcelona. It's such a privileged position to be in, and something I'll never forget.
You said it there, so much hard work has gone into this. We heard the Italian Bono cheering you on the radio as well. Did it really feel like every element came together today?
Yeah. I mean, of course, we were fortunate with the VSC, but I think we were quick enough. I think you could see at the pace at the end. I think we were quick enough to battle for position, and I think, unfortunately, the VSC ultimately robbed us of a proper battle, but yeah, I think safety at the VSC and then the pit stop coming out ahead, and after that, just no looking back. The car felt great, and the last two stints were really, really strong. I was closing the gap to those guys before when they stopped, and just phenomenal job from the team. So huge thank you to everyone back in Maranello.
Well done, Lewis.
Thank you.
Great to see classic Lewis Hamilton. Great to hear him so chipper, so energetic, so excited. Well, wrapping up soon here in Barcelona, but before that, we are going to look ahead to the next Grand Prix in Austria.
From Spielberg in Austria, this is Formula One. The crowd are roaring, and the Grand Prix is underway. Antonelli has hit Max Verstappen. Lando Norris being put under enormous pressure. Oscar Piastri will not give him an inch. What a fight.
See you at Spielberg.
Lando Norris wins the Austrian Grand Prix.
The Austrian Grand Prix coming up soon. Such an exciting event. We've seen so many great races at that track. Here's a look at your schedule. Of course, as always, weekend warm-up going to kick off on Thursday, 4:30 local time before we head into practice. It is a standard weekend back in Austria, practice 1 and 2 on Friday before we head into Saturday. Free practice 3 is going to be just after noon local time. And then, as always, we'll have your pre-qualifying show. That's going to be at 3:25 before that qualifying session at 4. Always so exciting in Austria, always so close. That track, lots of laps by a lot of drivers, not a lot of corners to separate them either. So always very tight, and it leads to an exciting race, of course, on the Sunday. Now, be sure to scan this QR code because between now and Austria, you want to enter that F1 Unlocked competition to win a VIP Formula One experience in Austin to come see Ed Sheeran live. You do not want to miss it. Hopefully, you're all going to be winners. Well, that is pretty much all we wrote here in Barcelona. But guys, we have Austria coming up in a few weeks. And I mean, Juan, I know your feelings on this track now after spending the weekend with you. What do you feel about the Red Bull Ring in Austria?
I think it's awesome. It's a short track. The differences are very, very small. So you really got to put that lap together. I think it's going to be a really good track again for Mercedes. I think Mercedes is going to be very strong. We need to see what Ferrari comes up with there with the engine. And I think Red Bull's going to be good there. I think everybody, the top 4 are going to be really close. And we're going to see, hopefully, a really good race back for like Williams and teams like that struggle here.
Yeah, it's been a happy hunting ground for Red Bull in the past. Do we think that they can, again, this wasn't really on pace, I don't think. Max Verstappen said they think they have the gap to the front of the field. With that power unit, that Ford Red Bull power unit, knowing that it's pretty strong, lots of straights in Austria, could that be a strong one for them?
I mean, they'll certainly be hoping so. As you said, you've got some slow corners and then long straights. I think those are the tracks that have probably suited them a little bit better this year. Personally, I love Austria because you can really choose what kind of experience you have. So if you want to have a quiet week, you really can. And it's idyllic and it's beautiful. But also, if you fancy a bit of a big night, you can go into the campsites around the circuit and you will get exactly
Sounds like you've been there.
that. I might have been there once or twice and had a few nights out.
Well, I'm going to be heading there for my first time, so I might need some tips from you. And Callum, I just want to say thank you so much for this weekend. Your first weekend here on F1 TV, absolutely smashed it. Lots of positive feedback. Hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. For both of you have been amazing, keeping me on the ropes and keeping me on the straight and narrow. And to the whole production team, honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better bunch to get me ready and up and running.
Well, again, thank you so much for your contributions. Juan Pablo Montoya, thank you, as always, for your contributions to the show. Thanks to Julian Palmer and Alex Jakes up in the booth. And thanks to all you watching at home. Incredible Grand Prix, historic day here for Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton. The championship battle titans. We head to Austria in a few weeks' time to see who can keep up the momentum. We'll see you then.
Next time in Formula One.
Welcome to Austria. A good launch off the line for Lando Norris. Sees him chop across Charles Leclerc. Antonelli's hit Max Verstappen. Lando still leads. What a fight.
This is absolutely brilliant.
It is a glorious part of the world to go motor racing.